Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Asan.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking 5 costly mistakes to avoid when using a UK budget income planner today and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like UK Budget Income Planner so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
All right, we're back. And today we're talking about something that, honestly makes most of us want to hide under a blanket, budgeting. But I've got Assad here who's going to help us figure out why our budget planners keep letting us down. Hey, Assad.
Hey, Angela. Yeah, so look, I know budgeting sounds about as fun as watching paint dry, but here's the thing. Most people are literally hemorrhaging money because they're making the same mistakes over and over with their budget planners.
Oh, God, I'm definitely one of those people. You know that feeling where you sit down on a Sunday, fill everything in, feel really smug about it, and then
And then 3 months later, your car needs an MOT and suddenly you're scrambling, right?
exactly. It's like, where did that come from? I had a budget.
Yeah, and we're not talking small amounts here. Most people end up with holes of like 500 quid or more, sometimes way more.
500 pounds? That's wow.
I mean, the Money and Pension Service says 39% of UK adults tracked their spending last year, which is up from 32% in 2020, so that's good. But
But tracking and actually budgeting well are totally different things.
Right, exactly. And honestly, a bad budget might be worse than no budget at all because it gives you this false sense of, I don't know, like you've got it together when you really don't.
Ugh, okay, that's depressing. But you said these mistakes are fixable?
Oh, totally fixable. Once you know what to look for, it's surprisingly straightforward.
All right, hit me with it. What's mistake number one?
So the biggest one, and I see this constantly, is people just completely underestimate their irregular expenses. Like, okay, perfect example. Sarah from Bristol, right? She sits down, puts in a rent, council tax, Netflix, all that monthly stuff. Feels great about it.
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks later, boom, car insurance renewal, £580. And she's like, where the hell am I supposed to find that?
Oh my God, yes! This literally happened to me last year with my boiler service. I was so angry at myself.
But see, that's the thing. We all think in monthly terms, right? Rent, phone bill, broadband, whatever. But the Office for National Statistics says irregular expenses are like 15 to 20% of what we spend.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so if you're taking home, say, 2.5 grand a month, that's potentially 500 quid going to stuff that's not even in your budget.
That's mental. So we're talking about what, like car insurance, MOT?
Home insurance, boiler checks, dentist appointments, eye tests, school uniforms if you've got kids.
Christmas. Oh God, Christmas.
Christmas is the big one. And look, none of these are actual surprises. Christmas happens every December, your car needs an MOT every year. But when they're not in the budget, they feel like emergencies, and then you're either raiding savings or…
Or putting it on the credit card. Yeah.
Exactly. So here's what you do, and this is it's a bit tedious, but it works. Go through your last 12 months of bank statements.
Ugh.
I know. But seriously, highlight everything that wasn't a regular monthly payment. Add it all up, divide by 12, and just stick that in as irregular expenses in your monthly budget.
So, like, if my car insurance is $600 a year, I should be putting aside 50 quid a month?
Exactly. It's called sinking funds. Takes about 45 minutes to work out, but honestly, it could save you from those horrible surprise bills.
That actually makes so much sense. Why did nobody teach me this at school? Okay, what's mistake number two?
Right, so this one's about income. People either overestimate what they earn or they completely ignore how much it varies. Like, most people just bang in their gross salary, you know?
Oh, yeah, I used to do that.
And the difference between gross and net can be massive. Someone on 35 grand, right? They think they're getting nearly 3,000 a month. But after tax, national insurance, pension, maybe student loans, they're actually getting about 2,350
That's a 567-pound difference per month.
per month. So if you're budgeting on the gross, you're living in fantasy land.
So always use the payslip, not the contract.
For regular employees, yeah. But then you've got the whole other issue of variable income. 0 hours contracts, freelancers, gig economy. Millions of people don't get the same amount each month.
Oh, God, yeah. My sister's a freelancer, and she's always either flush or completely broke.
Right. And what most people do is budget based on their best month, which is just is asking for trouble. What you should do, and I tested this with a graphic designer who was earning between $1,800 and $3,200 a month. Look at your last 12 months. Find your 3 worst months, average those, and use that as your baseline. Everything above that is bonus money for savings or paying off debt.
That's really clever. It means you can survive the lean months without panicking.
Exactly. And she stopped overdrawing completely once we did that.
Brilliant. Okay, mistake 3.
Housing costs. This is the big one that people they put down rent or mortgage and think they're done.
Well, yeah. What else is there?
Oh, Angela, so much. The true cost is usually 200 to 400 pounds more than people think.
Wait, what? How?
Okay, so energy bills for starters. If you're using figures from 2 or 3 years ago, you're probably 50 to 100 quid off per month right there.
Fair.
But then there's water rates, council tax, contents insurance, buildings insurance if you own, broadband, TV license.
Oh, the TV license. I always forget that one.
Everyone does. And you should really have a maintenance fund too, like 50 to 100 quid a month for when the boiler breaks or you need a plumber.
A maintenance fund. I've literally never thought of that.
And if you're in a leasehold, service charges can be mental, like 200 quid a month sometimes.
This is making me realize how bad my budget actually is.
Don't worry, you're not alone. Most people are the same. Which brings us to mistake 4, treating your budget like it's this one-time thing you do and then forget about.
Oh, guilty. I made mine in January and haven't looked at it since.
Classic. But think about it. Has your life stayed exactly the same since January?
No, definitely not.
Right. Pay changes, new expenses, maybe you moved, had a baby, whatever. Your budget from 6 months ago could be off by hundreds of pounds a month now.
Okay, so how often should we be checking it?
Honestly, monthly. But look, it doesn't have to be this big thing. Set a calendar reminder for the first of the month, spend 15 minutes just checking your actual spending against the plan.
15 minutes?
That's it. I had this guy, Mark from Leeds, right? Made a perfect budget, then ignored it for 8 months. His gym went up a $5, phone contract renewed higher, energy bills rose twice. By the time he checked, he was 87 pounds over budget every month.
That's over 1,000 pounds a year just gone.
Just quietly slipping away, yeah.
That's actually terrifying. Okay, last one. Mistake 5.
This one's subtle, but it's massive. People don't put savings and debt repayment in as actual budget lines. They just save whatever's left over.
Which is usually nothing.
Exactly. There's always something that absorbs it. New shoes, a night out, whatever. And with debt, if you're just paying minimums, okay, this is going to sound mental.
Go on.
$3,000 on a credit card at 22% APR. Paying minimum takes over 25 years to clear. Costs over $4,000 in interest alone.
What? That can't be right.
I know, it's insane. So you've got to treat savings and extra debt payments as fixed expenses. Pay yourself first, they call it.
How does that work then?
Simple. Take your net income, immediately subtract your savings target, even if it's just 50 quid. Then subtract any extra debt payments and only then budget everything else from what's left.
So you're forcing your spending to fit around your goals, not the other way around.
Exactly. And look, 50 pounds a month doesn't sound like much, but that's 600 a year, $3,000 over 5 years. That's proper financial security.
That's actually really motivating. Quick question though. What if you've got debt and want to save? Which comes first?
Oh, high-interest debt first, always. The interest you're paying almost always beats what you'd earn on savings. Clear the debt, then redirect those payments into savings. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Before we wrap up, though, I know some people worry about, like, will checking all this hurt their credit score, or that it's going to take forever.
No. Checking your own accounts does nothing to your credit score. Nothing at all. And time-wise, initial setup, maybe an hour. Monthly check-ins, 15 to 20 minutes tops.
And if people can't stick to it perfectly?
That's completely normal. It's a guide, not a prison sentence. You're aiming for progress, not perfection. Life happens. You adjust, you move on.
That's actually really reassuring. Okay, so let me see if I've got this. We're underestimating irregular expenses, overestimating our income, missing half our housing costs, treating budgets as a one-off, and forgetting to actually budget for savings.
Bang on. And fixing those could literally save people 1.5 to 3 grand a year.
3,000 pounds?
Just from using a budget planner properly. It's not magic, it's just being honest about your numbers and checking in regularly.
So, practical steps. Grab your last 3 months of bank statements.
Yep, use your actual take-home pay, work through each category honestly, and just commit to that monthly check-in. The clarity you get is worth way more than the hour it takes to set up.
Brilliant. Assad, this has been incredibly eye-opening. I'm literally going to redo my budget tonight.
Good. Let me know how it goes.
Will do. Thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Angela. Anytime.
Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost-saver blogs, especially free ways to slash your energy bills this winter and save up to 300 pounds, home insulation ROI guide for 2026, and guide to energy bills in London for single occupants in 2026.
Exactly. And reading those together gives you a fuller picture of safety, energy costs, and long-term affordability before you choose a postcode.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like UK Budget Income Planner right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Money and Pension Service, National Money Week 2023, and Office for National Statistics, Family Spending in the UK, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost-saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone house hunting so they make safer and smarter money decisions.
Your next step is simple. Try UK Budget Income Planner, then read Free Ways to Slash Your Energy Bills This Winter and Save Up to $300, and use both together before committing to a move.